In the following chapters, we will examine why is it possible that these treatment plants are smaller, use less energy, and produce less sludge. Let's take a look at the smaller footprint aspect. In order to understand how these treatment plants work, we need to go back and establish the base and comparison. So we will take a look how a traditional treatment plant works, just for a few minutes. So in a traditional treatment plant, we have these huge concrete reactors with fine bubble aeration at the bottom, and we have 3 to 5 kilograms of biomass swimming in the water. That translates to, for those of you from the industry, 3,000 to 5,000 MLSS. But basically what we have is tiny organisms swimming in the water, consuming the dissolved organic matter, building it into their bodies. Now, for comparison reasons, keep in mind that we have established that we have 3 to 5 kilograms of these hungry mouths swimming around doing the work for us. And there are about 600 to 800 kinds of those organisms, which we call 600 to 800 species. And of course, we have fine bubble aeration because all of these organisms need to breathe while they eat. Okay? So now let's take a look at it. How is an Organica plant different? In an Organica plant, we take the same reactors. We put plant racks on top. And on the plant racks, we have the plants and the roots of the plants dangle into the water about 1.5 meters. It's important to remember that the plants don't treat the water. People usually think, just looking at these treatment plants, these beautiful botanical gardens, that, oh, how beautiful it is. The plants are treating the water. The role of the plants, in fact, is to provide habitat in their root zone for a whole number of additional organisms. So now you can have not only the ones who are swimming in the water, which are the species who are adapted to swimming all the time, but now that you have the root zone in the water, now you are inviting those species that are adapted to different conditions. So now they attach themselves to the root. And as we will see in the next few minutes, there are tremendous advantages of this feature. One of the reasons is because the plant roots, as a natural substrate, invite a very large variety of organisms. The other aspect is that plant roots are enormous in surface area. We'll see videos showing that feature. So there's a lot of surface, which means there's a lot of place for organisms to attach to. That means we can keep a lot of organisms in a small space. We are increasing density, if you want, population density. The specific or interesting feature of the roots is that they don't really grow much deeper than 1 meter, 1.5 meters, 2 meters. But we would like to fill the entire reactor, and remember, these are 5, 6 meters deep. We'd like to fill the entire reactor with this habitat, because that means that we can fill the entire reactors with more population so we can make the whole system more efficient. So we developed this artificial root system, if you want. We call it the biomodule, that mimics the characteristics of the roots. Again, for the purpose so we can provide additional habitat in the reactors. The result is that we can keep 4 times as much biomass in a cubic meter of reactor space and 4 times as many species. So we have a much larger biodiversity and many more creatures doing the work for us. Let's take a quick look at the roots. As I mentioned, you see a close-up of the roots here. And on this CT, computer tomography picture here, or video, you can see the spatial matrix of the roots. And you can see that under the microscope, it really provides a tremendous surface area. That's the explanation why we can keep that much more biomass in the reactors. Another interesting element of the roots is that the roots are alive, naturally. And the organisms that attach themselves to the roots live in a symbiosis with the roots. For example, plants pump oxygen into their roots. And some of the inner layers of the organism, which is called, by the way, biofilm, the biofilm that develops on the roots, are receiving some of their oxygen supply through the plants. Also, there is a material exchange. Enzymes come and go between the root surface and the biofilm. And what is the result is a very healthy biofilm, a very healthy community. And we really care about the health of that community because that community does the work for us. So in summary, let's keep in mind that we have increased the biodiversity by fourfold. And we have increased the number of organisms that we can keep there, the volume, also fourfold. We can have more than 12 kilograms of biomass in each cubic meter of reactor space occupied by either the roots and the biomodules. And it also comes to reason that if you can increase the density that much more, that means that you can make the treatment plants that much smaller for the same capacity. So in comparison to traditional activated sludge plant, Organica plants tend to be as much as 50 to 60% smaller. In the next few minutes, let's take a look at it. How is it possible that the footprint is that smaller? The plants are selected for their root structure, or based on their root structure, and on the root mass, because we are interested in the habitat that they can provide. But it's very important to note that we always use locally available plants. It's never necessary to ship plants across borders. You will also see on this slide that there is a greenhouse around the plants because it is important to maintain 6 to 8 degrees centigrade as ambient temperature for the plants and for the whole ecology to work properly. Greenhouses are industrial buildings that are manufactured in large quantities, actually usually in hectares. So as such, it's a very inexpensive type of building, and they come with various features all pre-installed, temperature control and shading and misting equipment, and even wind speedometers that automatically close the windows of the greenhouses. Again, the role of the greenhouse is to provide a minimum 6 to 8 degrees ambient temperature. The treatment plants, the Organica plants, are designed as a very compact structure. As you can see on the right-hand side of the slide, this is where we have the reactors, the fine bubble aeration panels at the bottom of the reactors. You can see the biomodules, the plant roots in between, the plant tracks, the plants above that, and the enclosing greenhouse. On the left-hand side, you can see the mechanical equipment, typically in multi-story arrangement to provide a spatially very efficient solution. That means that it is in these sections where you will find the headworks, sludge treatment, blowers, control room, and even phase separation. In the Organica plants, as you will see later, it is possible to forego the clarifier, the traditional large clarifiers, and directly go from the biological reactors to a microfiltration unit. This way, it is possible to save all that space and really create a very compact structure.